Hey, 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 hey. Welcome back. It's Thursday night. And what time is it? It's time to get creative. Yep. Crafting with Kim. I am here. Are you? Been a little silly here. Anyway, tonight is going to be a fun night. Or I am, and hopefully some of you guys will pop on here and join me tonight. I am going to be showing you how to do something kind of cool for Father's Day. It's going to be painting a flame in a certain way on a glass mug. And it'll be kind of fun and different. So stay tuned and we're going to get right into that. You guys, don't I have a catchy little intro? It's such a little bebop tune. I love it. Anyway, like I said, if this is your first time or if you are a repeat, I love having you guys here. I am Crafting with Kim, and you can find me on YouTube and Facebook. And I appreciate as you come on tonight that you give me all kinds of love. I want likes, comments, shares. Please spread the word and help me out here, and let's get some interaction going here and have some fun tonight. Okay, so what are we doing? We're going to be, I keep saying we because I'm thinking that all these people are going to be hanging out with me and we're all going to be doing it together, but I'm going to be teaching you, and hopefully you'll maybe watch it later and want to do one yourself. So glass painting. A lot of people are intrigued by glass painting because there's, it's kind of cool and different. But there's lots of ways to do glass painting, or several ways to do glass painting, at least 3 that I know of, but not too many people think about it for a man. It's usually like wine glasses for women, that kind of thing. I thought of a cool idea to do for Father's Day. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take this mug. Okay, I got a clear mug here. I got this from the Dollar Tree. Hello, everybody who knows me knows that I'm a big Dollar Tree person. And what we're going to be doing is creating this guy. I know it's hard to see. Matter of fact, let me put my little paper in here, because I got to thinking this is a neat idea so you can see the image better, because glass is so reflective. Well, let me get this in here. All right, so yeah, so you can see this glass mug. See, that's so much better now. It's actually, a flame pattern, but we're going to be doing it with dots instead of painting it with a paintbrush. There's no paintbrushes tonight. It's really clean and easy. Okay, now I will show you. This is a version that I did first. I did a little trial and error, and it's pretty good too. I actually did this painted version. Okay, this is painted with a brush, and not saying that a person couldn't do this, but this is a little bit more time consuming, and it took multiple coats. I probably put about 4 or 5 coats on here to get it to look like this. So for the sake of tonight's lesson, I'm going to show you an easier way to do this. Okay, and more user-friendly, beginner type, for painting, if you can call this painting per se. But okay, so also I wanted to share something with you too before we get started on this. I want to show you a couple of the other glass things that I got going on here. Wine glasses. Now these actually are, I guess I need to put that paper in every single one of these so you can see it. This one here is like a little mermaid tail. This is something that we can do later on in a class or something like that. It's a mermaid tail. I've got this little tool. Now this bee one, it took me a while too, but the bee turned out pretty cool. It's got a bee, and it's got the little, let me see, get it in the camera, Kim. There we go, the little base and everything. Sometimes getting everything right in this camera is a little funky. All right, also, I got this one here, a little floral guy. You can see the floral one. Okay, it's like a cool little floral, very, very fun and simple, but turned out really, really cool. Okay. All right, somebody popped on here. Who we got? Somebody want to say hi as you come on? Please say hi, comment, give me some love. Tell me all kinds of good stuff. Tell me about your day. Tell me what you think about my stuff and my art and me. It's hopefully something good. All right, then I've got this one. Okay, this is a really fun, like little celebratory guy here too. So once again, I can teach paint classes as well, painting on glass classes. Oh, another version of painting on glass. This guy. Okay, this is actually a glass painting. This one's a little different because it's in a frame. Then this is actually something you could put in a window because it's using different types of paint, a different technique of painting, and it's actually transparent when it gets the light behind it. So anyway, I just kind of wanted to show you a few samples of painting, that I can do, and maybe someday if somebody's interested, they might want to actually join in on me with that. So somebody's in the background. What? No, I cannot. Call your phone. That was my guy asking me to call his phone. Anyway, who we got going on here? Oh, Ronita. Hey, Ronita, how are you? It's good to see you. Thanks for coming on and hanging out with me tonight. Okay, like I said, please give me some likes, comments, all that good stuff. I'm going to go ahead and get started with this. It's not going to take very long, but like I said, it's kind of a cool little idea. So I'm going to take you down below and show you what I got going on here. I get my camera situated a little bit better. Like I said, working with glass, there's definitely some, things you need to know about working with glass. First off, like I said, I'm going to be using this clear glass here, not the ones that I've already worked on, obviously. And like I said, just a clear piece of glass. I put that in there. But what we're going to do first is we need to have something to go by, like a pattern. Well, actually, let me back up. The very first step we need to do is we need to clean our glass, okay? Before you start putting any paint on, you need to make sure it's clean. So you take a little bit of alcohol and a paper towel and just wipe it down. I've already done this, so I'm going to do my best not to touch it again because, the oils and the fingerprints just make it, it'll probably adhere pretty good because these are really unique glass paint markers, which is, like I said, what we're going to be using tonight. As a matter of fact, let me show you these paint markers, okay, before I go any further. This is what I'm using, okay? I actually got a whole set of these off of Amazon, and they're pretty dang good markers. I like them a lot. There's quite a few assortment of colors, but the colors that we're going to be using tonight is a red. I got a couple of yellow and orange tones here, and that's pretty much all we need for the flame. Also need a Sharpie marker. I'm using a red one because of the red line I'm going to be using, and I'll kind of explain that as I go along. All right, so like I said, that's pretty much it. We got this, we've got our glass, and we've got our pattern. Now, what I do with a pattern is basically I just pre-drew this with a pencil, whatever pattern you want to do, and then I outlined it with a marker to make it show up a little bit better. And so what we do to have something to go by is we put it inside. Get my camera situated a little bit better, maybe. Okay, you guys can get it, and I'll get it up a little closer as I go along. All right, so we need to put this inside like this around, and you could just leave it like that, but in case it wants to shift on me, I like to put a little piece of tape right in there just to keep it from moving. So you figure out where you want your pattern design to be, okay, like that. Okay, on the inside. Oh, cool. Thank you. Yeah, the pattern. Like I said, this is a Father's Day thing, and I was trying to think of something really simple and easy that most people could do, especially if they've never done this before. And so anyway, yeah, if you want the pattern, somebody wants to try this, let me know. I'll take a shot of it and send it to you. It's pretty easy. By the way, this mug they're at the Dollar Tree. There are two sizes of mugs, two sizes. This is the smaller version. The other one's a big, whole, huge, heavy thing. And initially I had that, and I'm like, no, it's way too much. So I went and got the smaller version, and it works a lot better. Okay, so like I said, you put the pattern inside. Now, here's the thing. I am going to trace the pattern. I'm going to trace it over onto the glass instead of just painting from the pattern. And the reason why is because maybe it might be my 60-year-old eyes or something, but it kind of starts playing tricks with your eyes when you're starting to paint it in if you do it this way. And plus, it gives you a cleaner line to go by. So basically, all I'm doing is, and I'm using the red, like I said, because I'm going to have a red outline on this. If you wanted a black outline, then yeah, use a black, and then you're going to go over it with the marker anyway. You're going to use a paint pen to go over it. I've never noticed the mugs in the Dollar Tree. Yeah, they're definitely in there. They're usually on the bottom shelf. Where you find your wine glasses and stuff, you'll find them on the bottom shelf. Okay, at least in my Dollar Trees they are. All right, here I go. I'm just, like I said, I'm just going to be painting. Not painting. I'm just going to be outlining this guy here. By the way, let me know. I've got some music going in the background, and if it seems a little bit too loud or if you cannot hear it, let me know what the music volume is. It's a little low on my end, but I didn't want to make it too loud for everybody else because I've done a couple of these in the past with the music, and I noticed after I went back and looked at them, they were like, ooh, it was a little bit too loud. So yeah, let me know how the music volume's doing here. I don't know if you can't really see. You can, I guess you can kind of see that in a little bit. Okay, as I'm outlining it. It doesn't have to be exact. Like I said, it's a really kind of a weird optical illusion because as you're painting it, you can kind of see it from side to side, but just kind of hold it straight in front of you and do that little Sharpie line around. And like, it doesn't have to follow the exact painting, and it won't. Like I said, when you do this, you'll see how funky it is on your eyes. Oh, you can't hear anything? Cool. All right, then let me turn the music up. Let me turn the music up just a smidge, and you tell me when it seems all right. It's supposed to be background music, so hopefully, I don't know if that's any better. If it's still too low, let me know. It kind of fades in and out depending on, because it's not super loud music anyway. All right, but I got to have some music when I work. I can't work with no sound. It's just too dull and boring. I mean, it's quiet enough being in here by yourself without too many people hanging out with you when you're trying to do these lives and nobody knows you're here. But it's really bad if you don't have any music. Is the music better? Ronita, is the music better? See, this is where I wish I could actually have people interact with me. By the way, Rowita, I am actually streaming from StreamYard, and it does allow me to have guests on there, like an actual person, live person's face, like you're doing a Zoom meeting. So if you would like to come on the screen with me while I'm doing this and chat and hang out, I'd be more than welcome to give you the invite, and you can do that. Okay, good. I'm glad you can hear it. So like I said, anybody that wants to come in and ask questions or talk and just chill out and have a nice time while I'm painting this, I would love that. Love to see the faces with the names. Okay, I've got this little funky one back in here, behind here. It's behind I'm just kind of faking this one out, to tell you the truth, because I hit a seam as well. But we're going to go over this again with your with the paint pen too. So this is just a general guide right here. Okay, so I've got that part done. Now, once I've got that done, you see I'm trying to really be careful to avoid touching it, because like I said, I want to get my oily fingers on it, even though I think I did wash my hands before I started. No, it's not hard at all. Okay, see, you can see I got the little, I guess, once again, let me put this, I just got this cover idea today. I'm like, how do you see this in a, okay, you put the paper behind there and you can see it pretty darn good. Okay, as a matter of fact, I think I'm just going to keep the paper behind there from this point on as I do this, because it'll make it easier. The last time I did it, I didn't have any paper and it was harder to see. So it definitely makes it easier to see like this way. Okay, so the next step is basically we're going to take our paint pens. If you're not familiar, by the way, if you don't want to get a whole pack of paint pens like I did, the fact that I can't see my face either, you can actually go to Walmart, and they usually have the individual paint pens. I think they're a couple of bucks a piece, but and just get the colors you want. It's always good to have like maybe a white and a black as a standard, and then grab whatever colors you want. But for this one, like I said, we're basically using oranges and reds, okay, and yellow. All right, so I'm taking it back down. Hey, looky there. There's my friend Susan. Hey, Susan. Hey, baby. How are you? My friend Susan, I love her. She's in the hospital right now. Oh, Robert. Hey, Robert, how's it going? No, it's not hard at all. Okay. Everybody, I want to teach people, but, they don't want to come teach. They don't want to learn with me, especially you, Robert. You're right there next to me and you never want to learn. Susan, glad to see you. I'm glad you remembered. No, you don't want to be on screen. Do you want to be on camera? No, I don't. Okay, I can't hear you, honey. I can only see you. So I don't want to put you on camera, but you can actually comment. You can send me some comments on, type the comments in. All right, so back to the tutorial here. So I've got the flames, and what I'm doing now is making sure, the paint markers, what you got to do with these guys is, let me get this up close so you can see it, is I've already used these a few times, so the ink is actually down there, or the paint, but you have to press, this is enamel paint, so it's like permanent. So you have to press down on the tip to get the flow of the ink to come in there. Like I said, these are pretty good. And periodically, as we're doing this, you'll see me press to kind of just get a little extra flowing, because eventually it does kind of start to dry out. But I think all of these are pretty much good to go, at least for now. I'm just going to do a little quick press on them and put that over here. All right. So yeah, I got that. I'm not sure if I might use both oranges just to throw them in there. So what we're doing with this, like I showed you in the beginning, we're not doing a brush stroke kind of pattern like that. I'm gonna put this one aside. We're gonna be doing a series of dots. Okay, it's just dot, dot, dots. Now with flames, what happens is it usually starts out, it's darker and it graduates to your lighter. So we're gonna start with our reds and then our oranges and then get to the yellow. And the yellows is basically, at the tips. And when you get to the tips, it's pretty much just all yellow. I know it's hard to see without the paper in there, but it's pretty much all yellow at the tips because you want to get that illusion of the light going up like that. All right, so like I said, this is really pretty simple, and it might even be kind of boring to watch, but here you go. If you need me to get a little closer, I will try. I think I'm close enough for you guys to see this, but let's give it a try. I'm going to see. Okay, so I'm just dots. Okay, I mean, you can just dot, dot, dot. You just fill up the dots and fill up the dots forever. Fill it in. Now, as you start filling up the dots, I mean, they don't have to be big and small. They can be a various size of dots because once you get enough in there, it's going to all fill in, and you want it to have a real filled in kind of look. Okay, can you guys see that or not? See what I'm doing here? Okay, yeah. Get that darn glare. I got my ring lights on, and it's kind of glaring with that glass. Everybody, much love. Hey, Robert. Yeah, much love to you, Dar. I'm glad you found your phone. All right, so how's it going, Susan? You send me, like I said, I don't have you on audio, so I can't hear you. You'll have to type in if you want to say something. But you should have a comment section there on Facebook where you can type in just like you would on a regular Facebook. But at least I can see your face a little bit. I can see your forehead. There we go. I see you better now. There we go. I see the smile. Glad you're feeling better, girlfriend. I'm so glad. I can't wait till you get out that hospital and get rocking me again. All right, so I'm kind of doing this number. See, it's sort of filling in, and I'm going to go back and start blending with another color too. I'm going to start putting some of the orange in a second. You won't want to create like an actual line. Like you want to kind of be a little sporadic because as you're thinking about it, it's organic, so it's not going to be like one straight line and then you go into the other color. You're actually going to be like you'll be painting, you'll be blending colors together. All right, I'm going to stop right now with that one and start adding a little bit of the orange in. Okay, is that music too loud, guys? All of a sudden piped up to me. All right, so here we go. I'm just adding a little bit of touches of orange in there. The more your paint markers get used, the more your tips are going to be a little bit flat and worn out. Obviously, I think I've used this orange. Well, yeah, I did when I did my last one. I used all these colors in the last one I did. All right, so yeah, see, I'm starting to like fill that in. Do I need to pull a little closer for you guys to see better? Or am I close enough for you to see what's going on? All right. So, if you've joined me in the past, oh, you know what? I am such a dork. I forgot the one thing that I needed to do. Well, I can either do it after. You know what? I'll do it afterwards. I'll just go. I have to outline this in the red, do the outline. But I'll just go ahead and do that at the end since I've got my outline here. Just don't want to forget to do that because that's what's going to make it pop. All right. So, like I said, here I am. Once again, just dotting, dots forever. But while I am hanging out here doing all this dotting, I thought, you know what? Let me talk a little bit about the subject that I'm doing here. The subject actually, by the way, somebody tell me, is that music too loud? Can you guys hear me? You can hear me okay? The music's not too loud, Susan? Okay, good. All right, good. As long as it's not too loud on your end, I'm good because I can definitely hear myself and I can hear the music. All right, so, okay, I have a part of what I do here in when I do my teachings, my show, whatever it is. I call it artifacts, which I thought was pretty clever. And basically, whatever subject I'm teaching on, I Google it and get a little information about it so we can have something to discuss and talk about and learn something along with learning art. So it's called Artifacts. So today, since it's Father's Day coming up, Sunday, I believe, right? I wanted to go ahead and talk a little bit about fathers and Father's Day and what it's about. And let's maybe pipe in and have a little conversation about our daddies, what we think about, and tell them something good and positive about our daddies that we remember if they're still alive or if they're not, or, let's just talk about dads today. Okay, so back down to here. And like I said, you can see I started taking on a little bit of color with the oranges there. All right, I'm going to add a lot more orange. So, yeah, on that note about Father's Day, get my little cheat sheet here so I can kind of read while I'm dotting, because you can see this is, even though it's a cool effect, it's honestly a not very exciting thing to watch. But, okay, so Father's Day. Does anybody know exactly when Father's Day was founded, when it began? Anything like that? Like I said, whenever I do this, I always learn something interesting. If you go back and look at all of my live videos, I always do this. I talk about something to do with the subject matter. We did succulents not too long ago. I did a co-painting, and I talked about succulents, 10 facts about succulents, which are pretty cool, man. I mean, I learned a lot about succulents, and I knew some things, but always learn something new. Anyway, does anybody know anything about Father's Day, the history of Father's Day, without cheating and Googling it yourself? Well, okay. Since nobody has given me an answer, I'll go ahead and tell you what I found out. All right, so Father's Day. Father's Day. It was actually founded in 1910 in Spokane, Washington, by a lady, I guess, who worked at the YMCA, I guess. It just said founded by the YMCA in 1910. Her name was Sonora Smart Dodd. Sonora Smart Dodd. And she did this in honor of her father, who was a Civil War vet and a single dad. And he had 6 kids. I'm thinking, what? Can you imagine how many guys do you know these days that are single that raise that many kids by themselves? Maybe even 1 or 2 by themselves. I mean, I thought that was pretty incredible that this guy, did that. So yeah, I definitely would honor him in that respect, because that's pretty darn cool. I mean, a lot of guys don't even stay around for 1 kid these days. You know what I mean? Anyway, yeah, so like I said, it was founded in 1910. And another interesting fact, too, that I never really thought about is, I think most of us Americans, we just naturally assume that, it was founded by an American, but we would think that it's only a holiday in America. But believe it or not, it's actually a holiday in many other countries. It is a holiday in, let's see, where we got here. Lithuania and Spain, Australia, Estonia, Samoa, South Korea. They call it Parents' Day in some of them. So yeah, it's more of an international holiday than I expected. It's not just a national holiday in America. So that's kind of cool. All right. Everybody just abandoned me all of a sudden. I'm sitting here talking to the wind again. I know Susan's watching, but Robert, you still there? You're just not commenting? You're probably just watching a darn movie. Okay, so you can see it's kind of starting to take shape. It's got a little bit of the red and a little bit of the orange going on. Okay. Now, once again, you just kind of blend them all together, and you can put a little bit of the orange inside the yellow inside the orange, but you want to keep those yellow tips, just straight yellow. You don't want to add any other color in there, because it is just like a really, really hot yellow at the top. Okay. All right. Now that's pretty good. Now a person could actually go back and fill it in even more if they want. All right. So like I said, that's looking pretty darn good though, just like that. But yeah, as I go along, I might go ahead and refill it in. Now I'm going to do a little bit more. I'm probably not going to bore you guys with doing all of these dots tonight because you basically get the idea. But what I will do is I'll go ahead in a few minutes, I'll go ahead and outline this thing so you can see what it looks like to have it outlined. Okay, but remember, you're going along the bottom like this. Okay, you go along the bottom like that with your red, and as you get to the top, okay, you start adding your orange. I need to close the lids on these because I do not want these expensive markers. Well, these aren't too expensive, really. I got the whole pack for like 20 some bucks on Amazon. Okay, but you don't want them to dry out for sure. And I'm actually just blending over the top, the orange. I know it's so hard to see, guys. I'm sorry. The orange. There we go. It's a little bit better. I know it looks a little bit funky in the camera, but trust me, it actually looks pretty darn cool. All right, now I'm going to add the yellow on that tip too. All right, we're going to tip that out like that. And like I said, you can see pretty much anybody can do this. This is not a very hard thing to do. And you can do it with other things too. If you don't want a flame image, I mean, you can do this with the little flower images and things like that. And I almost have this totally filled in with those dots. See, just kind of fill it all in. You can go back and fill these in and more if you want. Okay, so yeah, there we go. You get the general gist of the idea. Now what I will do, like I said, is I'm going to go ahead and outline this with the red, and it makes it pop a little bit more. And let me see. I do have a few more facts. Now this is kind of funky because I'm trying to, well, thinking about it, here's a little tip. You know, as you're painting and you need to have support with your finger, you know, like, you know, so your hand don't shake to have steadiness. You know, people that paint, you know, you can always put your thumb down. I mean, your thumb, your pinky, put your pinky down and use that as a guide. Well, this is a little wet still. I don't want to touch that. And I got to thinking, I don't want to touch where I've already I've cleaned it, but thinking about it, hello, you can go ahead and touch in the center here because you're not going to be painting in that area. So you can go ahead and touch that. So like I said, I'm just going to go over my Sharpie outline. I'm sure I got it. With this red. And it's the paint. Don't worry about, you know, the Sharpie and the red. They'll be fine together. What you do after you get this all done, by the way, is you don't have to, but I always do as an extra precaution or extra note, is I put these, I turn on my oven to about, what is it, 350. Now what you want to do, I bake them. I bake this for about 15 minutes. It's the same thing. If you were, like if you were to use the brush version, all of the ones like that, those are acrylic paints, but they're made for glass. They're like all purpose, but you can either let them sit for 21 days or you can bake them in your oven. And I would rather do the baking. So what you want to do though with glass needs to heat up and cool down very slowly. So you need to put them in the oven when the oven is cold and turn your oven on and bake them for 15 minutes. Once it reaches, just let them in there. Once it reaches the temperature, leave it on for 15 minutes, turn your oven off and just leave them in there and let them cool down that way. Okay, everybody got that? You do not want to put them in there while the oven is hot. You know, while it's preheated, you want to wait. You want to let them heat up and cool down at the same time, because otherwise you could crack your glass. I know a little bit about glass. I used to do a lot of stained glass back in the day. And I've actually been to a blown glass factory in a really cool place in Asheville, North Carolina. Has anybody ever seen anybody like blow glass in person? I actually got to, the furnaces are crazy, crazy hot. I got to make a little glass globe ball one day. They had a free thing where they were letting people come in and do that. And I thought that was really super cool. So yeah, it was kind of neat to see how they blow the glass. Has anybody else ever had an experience with glass or worked with glass before? I love glass. I was really into doing glass work for quite a while. I was doing stained glass mosaic, and I actually taught several classes on that in the past. However, all of my equipment, I had grinders and light boards and all my cutters and all of my tools and a bunch of glass. Well, I had it in Panama City, and when Hurricane Michael hit, basically I had my stuff stored in a facility where I was doing some classes, and a roof fell in and destroyed my stuff. So I lost hundreds of dollars in stained glass goodies. And ever since then, I just haven't put the money into it to get it back, which is kind of sad because I had some really pretty pieces of glass. Well, I ended up leaving Panama City, so I wasn't able to even try to retrieve there. Okay. So, like I said, this one was a little shaky on this one. I'm going to go around a little bit better on this guy. I know you guys can't see that from here, but trust me, it's a little bit shaky, but I'm getting a little bit better handle on it this way. Granted, I didn't even have to put this one behind the handle, but I just kind of went ahead and did it. It's going to be a little bit more of a challenge, but it's all right. By the way, if you make a mistake while you're doing glass work, you know what to do? Does anybody know what to do when you make a mistake? Like if you need to take something off your glass. Okay, see how I've outlined it with the paint marker as opposed to the Sharpie, and it makes it pop a lot more. You can see a lot better because that Sharpie's real light on there, okay? So here's what you do when you make a mistake on glass. Like if you're painting on glass, either with your acrylic paints or your paint markers, alcohol, you can either take, like if it's a small area, get yourself a little Q-tip, put it in there, or a big area, wipe it all off and start all over again. Get just your paper towel and use some alcohol, and it comes right off. And it's like magic. So even if you mess up, it's not a big deal. You know, just like painting on canvas, paint right over it, get rid of it, and start all over again. Oh my God, Mark Remling, I do not believe your hair. I am so jazzed to see you, dude. This is awesome. Mark is an old friend of mine. We used to work together in Las Vegas years ago. I think you're still out in Vegas, aren't you there, buddy? And he is a phenomenal artist himself. Oh my God, he does amazing work. You guys should check him out. My friends, I'm friends with people that blow glass bong. They have glass they make that changes colors. Oh my, that's cool, Mark. Where are they? Are they in Cali? They make bongs. How funny. Are they in California? Man, Mark, I'm so excited to see you here. Dude, I haven't talked to you forever. I was actually going to contact you here in a few days. I needed to talk to you a lot about some airbrush stuff, but I'll get with you separately on that. But I'm so glad you could pop on. I'm so glad. Are you still out in Vegas, Mark? Or are you talking about you were going to move to Texas or something? Anyway, so glad people are finally showing up. This is good. This is the more action I've had since I started this whole thing. This is awesome. So I was basically just going to kind of call it quits because I'm doing such a little tedious little job here, but I want to kind of hang out and chat with people now. We'll get back on. Hello, you there? All right, so basically, like I said, what I'm doing, if you're just joining in, I'm creating this really cool flame mug. Mark, you're all about flames, dude. I know that you love to do flames. He does amazing. Mark does custom works on bikes and cars, and he does metal work and airbrushing, you name it. Dude's all over the place. He's really good. But he can cut some flames now. But anyway, yeah, so this is just a little quickie beginner. These are all beginner lessons, Mark, for people that, just starting out and stuff, and they want something to do, and trying to teach them some really cool stuff. So anyway, like I said, this is just basically a bunch of dots, and I'm going up a little bit, and as I go up, I start adding some of the orange in here. I'm starting with the red at the bottom. You add a little orange, and then you add your yellow. Hey, Jackie from Kentucky. Woo-hoo-hoo. Kentucky, what a beautiful state. I've been through there. Oh my gosh, the rolling hills of Kentucky. It's beautiful, girlfriend. Thanks for coming on. I'm so glad to have people here tonight. I'm not talking to the crickets. This is nice. By the way, just for people that are just coming on, my name is Kim Hostetter, and I'm Crafting with Kim, and you can find me on Facebook and YouTube. I cast live simultaneously on both of those. So if you're on Facebook, please share, love, comments, all that good stuff. Tell everybody I'm doing something every week, at least once or twice a week, actually. And I also do co-paints with another friend of mine where we paint together on screen. Anybody wants to join me and do that, I'd be love to have you as, you know, hanging out and on screen and talking and chatting. That'd be great. I have the capability to do that. And also, if you're on YouTube, subscribe, notifications, all that good stuff. Okay, just show me some love. All right, so now I'm going to go back down to my little tutorial here and show you what I'm working on. Jackie, like I said, you're a little bit into it, but I'm taking this mug. Of course, these are Dollar Tree mugs, and I'll give you a little quick. I mean, you can look at the replay, I guess, instead of me going back over it. But I'm doing like a little dot pattern on here, and when you put the paper behind it, you can actually see it a lot better. See how it shows up? It's like a flame idea with dots. Okay? And I've actually put a beverage in here, and it looks kind of cool, the beverage too. So I tested it out all the way. So what we're doing, like I said before, is I'm starting with the orange. The red goes at the bottom, and then I've got orange. Mix the orange in with it a little bit. What kind of pens are you using? Honey, these are paint pens. I don't know if you're familiar with them. They're like enamel paint pens. So these particular ones I got as a set off of Amazon, 24. It's got all kinds of really cool colors, and they're pretty decent. I've tried some that are pretty lousy, but for this particular one, like if you don't want a whole set and you just want to get a few, like for a little project like this, I'm using red, orange, and yellow pretty much. You can go to Walmart, you know, probably any, of course, Hobby Lobby and Michael's, they're all going to have them, but Walmart does carry them, and they carry quite a few colors too. So you should be able to find some basic colors there to do it, but it's paint pens, and you have to like work with them a little bit. I've been working with these when you first start out. The heads are white, and you have to press them down to get the ink in there. So every once in a while, I have to do like a little press to make sure that I've got the paint flowing out of there. And what I'm doing, like I said, is just doing little series of dots all up and down it. But I'm starting like with the flame. You want to go the red at the bottom, add your orange in, and at the very tips, you do your yellow. Who else we got here? I actually got 5 people. Man, this is a record. I'm excited, guys. I'm getting some love tonight. All right, so dot, 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 dot. Like I said, as you go along, you know, you do your first fill in, and then you can go back and work it, and you know, try to get it built up a little bit more, so I can make sure I got enough ink in there. Or I always want to call it ink, but I guess it's paint. They call them paint pens, but it's enamel paint, I guess. All right, you do want to definitely stay within your lines. Like I said, I've already gone around this with the red paint pen. I got the real tip up here. But if you do get out of line with it, you could just go back over it with your red paint pen again. It ain't that big of a deal. Okay, so this is, like I said, you can see I start adding the yellow. That yellow really pops it nice, doesn't it? Okay, let me see. Are there anything that I can think of? I've got some of my artifacts about Father's Day. We were talking about Father's Day and some of the history about Father's Day. And then I thought if anybody wanted to talk in and give a little hoo-yah out to their dads as far as like, you know, some great, good things, good news to talk about your dad, or some sweet stories about your dad. Anyway, I did mention that it's like an international holiday. It's not just an American holiday, which kind of surprised me. It's in a lot of other countries. It says also here on my little notes, U.S. and other North American countries celebrate it on the third Sunday in June. Hello, we know that, you know, here. But a lot of the other countries like Canada, Mexico, and so I think I don't know, some of the other countries, they do the third, but other ones do it like in March. I think they said in Europe, some of them actually do it in March. All right. But anyway, yeah, it's all about honoring your dad and honoring your parents and whatnot. And on that note, would anybody like to say a little something about their dad. I mean, like, hey, I got a great dad. He's awesome. He's been there for me. Or, I mean, do you have a lousy dad? Do you not have a dad? Do you have a stepdad? I mean, we're going to talk about dads a little bit. I guess I can tell you a little bit about mine. I mean, I'm actually what I would call, I've got a dad story. Does anybody else have a dad story? Well, my dad's story is that I'm not going to lift the camera up while I do this. I'm trying to keep working while I'm doing this. But my dad died. My biological father died when I was 8 months old. So I really never knew my biological father. And my mom he was 19. My mom was 17. So they were very young. And she was a widow at like 17 years old. That's kind of crazy to think about, huh? So therefore, she raised me, and she did marry several times, in the course of her years. Eventually, she married a gentleman when I was 15. I am now 60. And they had been together all those years. And so he basically was my dad since I was 15. So I would consider him my dad. You know what I mean? And his name was Larry. And he was a great guy. He was a musician, very, very smart. He used to teach English, really like high IQ kind of guy. But my mom and dad were road musicians for many years. They used to travel and sing country and western music out west. So that's a little history about my family, my dad. And unfortunately, both of them passed away a few years back. My mom passed first about 5 years ago. And I think dad's been gone for about 3 years. And I'm an only child by my mom. So I'm an orphan in the sort of a sense. I do have some stepdaughters, which live out west. They're all in Arizona, California. No, not California. Yeah, they're basically all in Arizona. I'm getting California mixed up with the other girls. But yeah, so that's my family story. Anybody's interested in what I got to share? Nobody else wants to comment on their family or their dads or anything like that? Come on. It's Father's Day. Show some love to your daddy. All right, so yeah, like I said, we put that yellow on there, man, it just totally blends everything in. It just pops it so nice. So no more comments since then, I don't think. I can't see anybody else coming on. It looks like everybody's from Facebook too. No YouTubers yet. I just started my YouTube channel as far as my art YouTube channel recently, so I'm not expecting too much activity on that. I'm going to have to build that up a little bit more, but Facebook, come on now. I should have plenty of people on Facebook on here. All right, so like I said, I'm going to go through and do a few more dots. I'm not going to finish this whole thing out because you can see the final effect. And, like I said, it's not a very interesting thing to actually watch. But I just thought I would go through and show you a basic, simple technique that you can do that doesn't require brushes. And it's just, like I said, you can do this all kinds of different images. It doesn't have to be flames. You can do flowers or other little simple images like that too and use this dot method. And you can fill the dots in as much as you want. How are we going there? A little bit more. All right, so trying to get it to where I have a biological father and a dad. He's a great dad. Blessed to have them both. Aw, that's sweet. Thank you, Jackie, for sharing that. I appreciate that. Yeah. Like I said, I had several dads, honestly. But my dad, like I said, from the time I was 15 and like I'm 60 now. So he's been my dad. He's always been there for me. He was a great guy. And, I think anybody that takes on another person's child is definitely something special because, it's not their biological blood, but, they take them on as their own. And that's really great. Okay, so anyway, and I was actually married to a gentleman who had 3 stepdaughters, and now they're all friends of mine. Julie, Miss Elitis, not Miss Elitis, you're Mitchell now, hello. Jody, both of them I still keep contact with, and I don't think either one of them are watching me tonight, but they are still part of my family after all these years, even though I'm not with their dad. Okay, anyway, you can see I'm dot, 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 dot. Okay. After this one, I'll probably stop. Like I said, I don't actually. You know what? Heck no! I'm going to keep going. I'm getting along faster than I thought I was. This is actually going pretty darn fast. I'm already almost around to the stem there. Okay. Like I said, I'll probably want to go back in and do a little bit more blending with the orange and the red, you know, just to kind of make it and fill it in a little bit more. But I guess I need to have it down so you guys can actually see what I'm doing. This is called pointillization. Is that what they call this? Oops, I dropped my pen. Okay, let's see. All right, here we go again. Dot, 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 dot. I just created a song to go with this. All right, so yeah, Father's Day. Anybody else want to talk about their daddies? Robert, you listening? I know you are. How about Mark? Mark, you still on there? Tell me a little something about your dad. I hear a little history lesson. Not a history lesson, but like you can tell me a good story, something easy, something fun, or something quirky about your dad. Okay. All right. So yeah, I knocked this one out too. Okay. Like I said before, Jackie, at the beginning or towards the beginning, when you do anything with glass, maybe it wasn't towards the beginning. It might have just been a few minutes ago. Anyway, I'll repeat myself. When you're painting on glass, these pens are permanent and you can use them. They're dishwasher safe. I just hand wash all of mine though. I just don't trust them in the dishwasher, but I do hand wash. And what I like to do though is I like to throw them in the oven. You start the oven out cold and you turn your temperature on to 350, put your glass in there and let it heat up cold and let it cool down till the oven is cold. But you just put them in there for about 15 minutes. And you do that with these pens. They say you don't have to, but it just gives a little extra security for durability. And also you would do that with your other acrylic paint, permanent paint that you can paint on glass with as well. All right, so everybody got that? Understand, man? Okay. So this music tonight, I found this cool copyright-free music that I can put on Facebook, because Facebook, a lot of people are, they're real weird about using music that's not copyrighted. Well, I understand being around musicians. That's how they make their money, by the royalties. But anyway, I found this String Beats music, which is pretty darn cool. It's just like background music that you can play while you're alive, or while you're on the internet, which is pretty darn cool. So it's so nice to be able to have music, because some of my first few videos, no music, and I was going nuts. It's so dead, like dead space. Okay. Oh, thank you. Yeah, thanks. You're welcome. All right, so I'm almost done, guys. Okay, believe it or not, I just breezed through this. I think the first time I did this, it took me longer, but I was just kind of piddling around while I was watching TV. And like I said, I think I would like to add a little bit more yellow in this anyway. Go back and fill it in a little bit more fuller. You guys get the general gist, because the more you fill it in, the more solid it's going to look, right? Okay. I got one more flame to do here, and then I will be done. So as I did before with all the other ones, you start down at the bottom with the red, okay? And you work up with the red, from the red up. Oops, got a little bit about my handle there. Jackie, I don't know if you heard me say this either, but yeah, you did. That if you make a mistake, you just use alcohol. It'll come off with alcohol. And you can actually, now if you want to go over these paint pens, kind of interesting about that too, something you should know. Same thing with the acrylic paints and stuff and enamels. If you want to go over something after it's dry, And it's not like solid, I mean like cured dry, but just dry like this. Be a little careful because sometimes you can actually pull the paint off. It'll like reactivate it. Whatever is on there first, it'll reactivate it and it can cause it to smear a little bit. So that's just a little tidbit, little tip to know about these. That's the same thing, like I said, with your enamel acrylics. They'll kind of do that too. They'll kind of smear on you a little bit if you're not careful. So I'm bringing the orange down into the red, you know, to kind of blend that, give that like a blending effect. Okay, and then I've got my yellow. Okay, you're in my yellow. I start from the top on the yellow and work my way down. I know you cannot see this. I'm sorry. I'm not really showing you very well on camera. And it's super hard to see. All right, I mean, if I can hold it up and do it. I think I can do that. Oh boy, am I good or what? I've got this sideways while I'm actually having it pointed at the camera, and you can see how I'm dotting this. I probably should have done this to start with. It would have been a lot more interesting for anybody to actually watch, right? All right, so you can see I kind of got an effect there. Okay. All right, now, so that's basically it. And then, like I said, after you're done, you can pull this out and you've got your your flame mug, but of course you guys can see it in the camera much better with the white behind there. Okay, all right, so that pretty much sums it up for this guy. Does anybody have any questions about glass painting in general, like any other types? Like I said, I showed these before. This is another, here we go, I got to put the glass in every single one of these with the camera. This is a version, you know, I did these with the paint pens as well. This little guy, really cute. Here's my little, for some reason I want to call this celebration, and just, you know, with the little swirlies. This one's really cool. See, I painted the stems on these. All of these have been, I'm like got my face away from the camera. All of these have been heat set. I put all of these in the oven, so they're durable enough to be hand washed, okay? I've also got, as I said, I showed these before. I'm just showing them again for those, but I've got the little mermaid tail here, okay? It's actually like purples and turquoise and all that kind of stuff. I got that one. And my bee. My bee was a challenge, and I don't think I'd ever want to teach this, but it was kind of a fun one to learn in a sense, but it took me forever to put coats on there to get it nice. That's a little guy with the bees, okay, and the stem and whatnot. So yeah, just goes to show you different ideas you can do with glass. Of course, there's a zillion things that you can paint on them. Maybe one day I'll actually do a brushed glass painting class with you guys. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and say good night. I hope everyone has a blessed Father's Day. Remember your daddies. And just show them lots of love. And once again, if you would do me a favor, and if you're on YouTube, give me a subscribe and a like, comments, Facebook, shares. Please let everybody know what I'm doing here. This is all free and it's fun, and I like the interaction with everybody. So good night, and I will see everybody next time, next week. Actually, I'll be co-painting with my friend Anita. We're going to be doing the really cool flamingos, so you want to see that. And I might throw something else in there in the middle of the week too, if I feel like it. All right, bye-bye.